like to dedicate this to all of the Creator's righteous children. I have some food in my bag for you. Not that edible food, the food you eat. No, I have some food for thought. Since knowledge is infinite, it has infinitely fell on me.
Peace and blessings. So today we're going to be talking about music. It's the end of 2018. And a lot of year-end lists are being put out there of the best and worst music of 2018. And I just want to talk about music in general because of a comment that somebody who I really am not a big fan of, I was a little bit of a fan of back in the day when they put out their debut album, Songs About Jane. And if you know who I'm talking about, then you know who I'm talking about. This person is a judge on The Voice, and this person really has not been making the best music as of late. His name is Adam Levine, and he is the front man, if you can even call him that, of the band, if you can even call it that, Maroon 5. Now, my history with Maroon 5 is basically I heard their singles on the radio. My sister really liked their first album. She had it. She'd always play it in the car. My brother would always play it in the car. And that was that, right? And, you know, Songs About Jane is a really, really incredible album. I will always give them that. That is an incredible album. I really feel like they put their all into that album. It was really amazing. Fast forward a couple albums later, and they just started to phone it in. Mostly Adam Levine, because Hands All Over Us, I think, was their third studio album. And he was just not happy about the way that it charted on the Billboard. It charted out there in, Music Land. And he really wanted that top 40 smash. And he was not having it. So he did that song Moves Like Jagger featuring Christina Aguilera. Didn't really like that song. Thought it was really annoying. But it became a really big smash. And then he realized, if I just do this pop formula thing, then I will still be making it out here in the top 40. And yeah, he did that. So then he puts out other mediocre music and music that just isn't living up to or being remembered as great music. A lot of the music that he put out they put out, Maroon 5, between 2010 and current, you can't tell me that those songs don't sound so 2010, so 2012, so 2014. Like, it's so bad. It really is. And he is just trying so hard to just keep getting top 40 hits and trying to be one of those artists, because I can't even call the band a band anymore, one of those artists who is just phoning it in and trying to get a top 40 smash. And he'll work with anybody. He'll work with literally anybody to make music with. And recently, he said some comments in a interview that he did with a magazine publication or something like that. I think it was an online publication. And you can look it up, he did talk about music and how rock music has nothing going for it, that there's no heart, there's no spirit in rock music, and I'm paraphrasing. There's no spirit or anything going on in rock music. Rock music is basically dead, and that the only thing going for it, and the only thing that has any heart, and the only thing that has anything going for it is hip-hop. Now, I love rock music, but I also love hip-hop music. And growing up, I grew up with a lot of very eclectic music in my life, from hip-hop, R&B, jazz, blues, reggae, so many different genres, pop music, indie music, rock music, pop punk music, so many different types of music, right? I even got into country for a little while. I've listened to it all, honestly. And for me, I've always really appreciated when music is good, when you can tell that music is really, really good. I've always been able to appreciate that, whether it be the lyrics, whether it be the instrumentation, whether it be, just the vibe of the song. If it's a really good song, you can tell, right? You can just tell. Sometimes the lyrics suck, but the song is just really good. You know what I mean? And sometimes the instrumentation sucks, but the lyrics are just so profound. You know, it just really depends. And for me, I love so much different types of music that I've always been able to just, weave in and out of different genres my whole life. You know what I mean? I've just been able to do that my whole life and listen to so many different types of music. So I've never really had like a preference where people have been like, well, what's your favorite genre? And I can never tell them. I do have a genre that I love to death, and I will always love this genre, and it'll always be one of my favorites, which is R&B. But I don't have a favorite genre because I love too many different genres at one time, right? Because when I put my my phone on shuffle on Spotify or anything else, it's going to be 20 different songs from 20 different genres. And so that's just who I am. So when Adam Levine goes on to say that rock music has no spirit in 2018, has no heart, basically it's just a dead genre, and if the only thing going for music today is hip-hop, and that hip-hop is the only thing that we should be listening to, and basically the only thing that we should be putting our energy and attention in, that really hurt me. And the reason why is because I know Adam Levine isn't even talking about good hip-hop. He's talking about the trash that we hear on the radio every day. The depressing SoundCloud, mumble rap, trap rap, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, garbage. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It really is sad that he is putting all of his faith in that and trying to act like that's like the coolest, best music out there, and there's nothing else going on in any other genre. When there are incredible things going on in rock, maybe not completely on the mainstream level, even though there are a few things going on in the mainstream level that are cool and that are actually, doing a lot of great things. Maybe not 100% in the mainstream level, but there are a lot of great underground bands that haven't made it to the mainstream yet that are doing incredible things. Same with hip-hop. Same with almost all the genres right now. And I know a lot of the genres right now are really sticking to this really one-note mentality, this one-note way of making music, from hip-hop with its trap rap and its SoundCloud and its mumbling, to rock music thinking that it has to pop out and always has to have a feature from some hip-hop guy in it, or just having a trap beat in the background to make it sound cool or be on the top 40. And even country with its country, dude bro country, like all of these types of music are really giving you its lowest form of music at this point in 2018 in the mainstream. So for anybody to really say that anything that music wise that is going on in the mainstream, to say that any of this type of music is actually good would be an understatement completely. Now, will I say that there's no good mainstream music out there right now? I completely could never say that. Because there's always going to be that one song that happens to be good and that just ends up on the top 40. And I'm okay with that, 100%. That's how I found out about a lot of my favorite bands and my favorite artists back in the day when I didn't have, Spotify or the internet to find new music. So I had to listen to the top 40. I had to listen to the radio. So it is what it is. So I'm not really saying that that's a bad thing, but what I'm trying to say is it is 2018. Everybody has a smartphone in their hand or a computer at their will. They have the capacity to go on the internet and find the newest, hottest rapper on the underground, the coolest, newest band, and the musicians who are just doing things that are not confined by a genre but are just making great music. And for me, that's what I look for in music these days. I don't look to the mainstream to help me find new music. You know what I mean? I find music by the internet because that's what you're supposed to do in 2018. So the people that are still looking to the mainstream ways of listening to music, like the radio or the mainstream, ways of finding music on Spotify, you're not really tapping into things that you could be, the potential of these artists, and helping to make their dreams come true, as well as giving you really good music. You know what I mean? Like in 2015 alone, I found so many great artists that I probably would never have found without the internet. Like people like Phony People, who I'm in love with, who just put out an album this year that is so great. I'm so glad I found out about them. No Name. I would have never found out about her. She's incredible. She's great. She put out an album this year as well that's amazing. Knock on Medicine for the People, Soja, so many different artists that I found between 2014 and 2018 that are just incredible. You know what I mean? Princess Nokia, like I would have never found out about her without the internet. Like there are so many different artists, bands, rappers that I'm finding out about because of the internet. And so for Adam Levine to really, and I want to dive deeper into this conversation about rock versus hip hop, because I feel like there's been this really big divide lately, and this big conversation about rap being this and rock being this, and how hip hop is taking over and rock is just dead. And it's just like, none of that is true. Yes, hip hop has become the number one genre, in the world. And I've talked about this on many different videos I've done on YouTube, and many different times I've talked about how hip hop has become the number one genre in the world, and that's okay. I'm so happy for hip hop. I keep telling you, I grew up in the 90s, where hip hop in the golden era, and you couldn't have told me or my siblings that hip hop was going to be at the level it is today. And I'm just so happy for hip hop. You know what I mean? Do I think that all the hip hop that's being made today is great? No. I think most of it is trash, garbage, 100%. But there is the things that are bubbling under the surface that are not in the mainstream, that are doing incredible things. And you guys are not listening to these artists. You know what I mean? You're not listening to these artists. And it's not just Adam Levine, to be honest, who's saying these kind of remarks and doing these types of things that are making you think that they just care so much about being in the top 40 and being on, riding the coattails of hip hop. It's bands like Maroon 5 and Adam Levine. It's bands like Fall Out Boy and Pete Wentz. It's bands like 30 Seconds to Mars, if you could even call it a band anymore, right? 30 Seconds to Mars and Jared Leto, who I love Jared Leto, I love Pete Wentz, I don't like Adam Levine, so I can't say him in the same breath. But I do love, Pete Wentz, and I love Jared Leto for other reasons besides music right now, I did not listen to the new 30 Seconds to Mars album this year because I'm not the hugest 30 Seconds to Mars fan. I thought what they did with their 2013 album was really great. And I haven't really listened to a lot of their music since, but I really like Jared Leto as an actor, so that's why I've checked them out. But to be honest, from the reviews that I've been seeing of their music, and I kind of figured this anyways, is that they've totally turned the tide of going from a somewhat kind of okay, pretty good rock group to being this clout chaser who just wants to ride the coattails of hip hop, who tries to pretend to be a band. And I feel that way about 30 Seconds to Mars, Fall Out Boy, and Maroon 5. They all talk about how they're the last remaining bands on, top 40 radio, and Imagine Dragons does the same thing. They all are these types of bands who aren't really in making rock music, as you would say, rock music, but they want to stay on the top 40 and still continue to be riding the coattails of hip hop, because they'll add a rapper into every song they make to try to get it to chart on the top 40. And usually the artist or the rapper that they're using on their songs usually is never really that great. Okay? It's never really that great. It's one of these mumble rappers, these SoundCloud rappers, the little rappers, and they're never really that great. Never. What they're talking about never has anything to do with the song. It just never really cohesively gels with the music. When I was growing up, we used to have very many collabs with different artists, hip-hop, rock music, and they would make music together. Hip-hop, country music, they would make music together. But at least the music that they were making actually made sense. and the lyrics that they would go through and piece together made sense. Now, not always, because of course there's always going to be those not so great songs, and that just is what it is. But for the most part, they made sense. Today, you listen to a song with an R&B guy and hip hop guy, a rock guy and a hip hop guy, whatever. And 9 times out of 10, the hip hop guy will be rapping one thing and the rock or the R&B guy will be talking about a completely different thing. And it's like, wait, but this doesn't make sense at all. Like, what you're rapping about has nothing to do with the chorus or whatever the R&B person or the rock person is talking about. And it's just like, I don't understand. Like, I can tell you guys are phoning it in to get chart success, and that's really sad. Like I said, have always been a hip hop fan. I have always been a rock fan. I love when those two genres come together. It makes me very happy. That is why I love bands and artists like Gym Class Heroes and Travie McCoy, because they've been able to put the two best elements of rock music and hip hop and other elements of music as well together to make one cohesive project, and it's really beautiful. You know what I mean? But I'm just so tired of rock acts trying to act like they need hip hop to be successful, and for hip hop artists to be so enamored with rock artists that they don't even care about the genre of hip hop. Let's be honest, okay? Most of these SoundCloud rappers, most of these mumble rappers, these trap rappers, they don't give 2 iotas about hip hop as a form of music, as an art form, or the history of hip hop in general. They don't care. But they will be so quick to say that their favorite artists and bands were Nirvana, Marilyn Manson, Fall Out Boy. You know, they don't care about hip hop, but they're using the cadence of hip hop to make music. But they're spinning it so that it looks like it's more of a rock song, but with hip hop lyrics, hip hop, cadence of the way that they're flowing, of the way that they're rhyming. And you can't even call that really, rhyming or cadence, but whatever. That's another conversation that I've already talked about on here that you can go check out. But it's just crazy to me, honestly, on a real level, that you have people like Adam Levine who are really phoning it in, like completely phoning it in. Like, you can't even hear freaking drums. You can't even hear guitars. You can't hear anything on a Maroon 5 song anymore. And yet he has the nerve to say that rock music is dead and hip hop is where it's at. Every time that they put out a song, Maroon 5, if it does not chart like almost number 1 or at least, really high on the charts, Adam Levine will get mad. So he'll be like, I need to recruit a hot rapper at the time to put on my song, because if I don't, I'm not going to make successful music. And he started this really in 2012 with Wiz Khalifa when they did Payphone. And I hate that song. I love Wiz Khalifa. I think Wiz Khalifa's a great guy. I think he's a great dad. I think his music is awesome. And, he's a weedie, so hey, shout out to him. But honestly, that song is garbage. And it's not really even because of Wiz Khalifa. It's because Adam Levine thinks that he needs to have Wiz Khalifa on the song to make it hot. But what it sounds like is a bunch of garbage that came out in 2012 that isn't even going anywhere. I listen to that song now and I'm like, that is so 2012. Like, that's not even like, you can't even like act like that song is not 2012. Like, you listen to it now and it's just like brings you back to that time. It's not a timeless song. I'm tired of these artists today not making timeless music. Like, I'm so tired of it. So when you look at the landscape of 2018 and where music has gone this year, how many memorable songs are you really having in the mainstream? Like, there were some memorable songs from when I was a kid. Memorable songs that, although even some of those sound very like, these are from this time period, but even still, those songs are timeless. You know what I mean? They're timeless for a lot of reasons. You know what I mean? Take Missy Elliott, for example. Work It. Very 2003. Very 2003. But the difference between her sounding very 2003 and somebody today sounding very 2018 is that Work It had cohesive lyrics, amazing beat, and it was very clever. The music video was awesome, and it was just an all-around banger because Missy Elliott put time, effort, and actual lyricism and actual thought and actual creativity into the song. That is something that you do not see or hear in 2018, and that is just sad to me. That is just sad. I need the mainstream audience to get it together. And if you're not going to get it together, then you just have to go and look and search in the underground on the internet to find better music, because what you're listening to on the radio is not where it's at, honey. It's just not. And furthermore, I am so tired of the comparison between hip hop and rock music. Okay? Both have their distinctive ways of making entertaining music, right? Both of them do. So when I hear people getting really mad at hip hop because hip hop is so stupid and hip hop is this and hip hop is that, that means that you're not going and looking in the underground and finding good music, good hip hop music that's really out there, really about something. You're not looking. If you're only looking at the mainstream and all you can listen to and all you can say is that Tekashi 6ix9ine sucks, XXX sucks, this one sucks, the Migos suck, like Cardi B sucks. Like, if all you can say that is that in one breath, then you're not even trying to find the artists that are actually out here making incredible music. No Name, I named her for example. You know what I mean? And there are a few artists in the mainstream that are still making good music that I can attest for, Chance the Rapper, even though he's gotten huge, he's still making pretty quality good music, you know what I mean? Joey Badass, like, really, you guys are not looking. J. Cole, Kendrick. And I know these are big examples of artists in the mainstream that are making good music, but still, they are. And I know that there are people out there that praise those people for the music that they're making, but it just feels like that's all you're doing. You praise those 4 people that I just named, 4, and then you just shit on everything else, which all the other garbage does need to be shitted on, but you're not looking at the underground, you're not looking on the internet to find the good music to promote, and that annoys me. With rock music, it's like, every single person ever now in 2018 is making videos on YouTube about how rock is dead and this one and that one. Then you have a band like Greta Van Fleet, who I'm not really well versed in yet. I've listened to a few of their songs. I think they're a pretty great band. I haven't gotten into them, fully, but they sound pretty good to me. And you guys are still shitting on them, trying to act like they sound too, 60s, 70s. They sound too much like Led Zeppelin, which I totally get the comparison. I get it. But, if you guys are going to shit on them, and they're getting really good mainstream exposure right now, if you guys are going to shit on them and try to act like the rest of rock is just totally horrible, this one band that might sound pretty good and actually could be a great band that could be out there in the mainstream to change things a little bit so that we can go on the right projection path to better rock music on the mainstream level, you guys shit on it. And I just don't understand, you guys. I don't understand. Like, make up your mind, music fans. You know what I mean? Like, act like you care about music again. That's all I need. Act like you care about music again, because I'm tired of people like Adam Levine, like Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy, like Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars, like Imagine Dragons, all these bands trying to act like rock music isn't really where it's at, but we're still going to act like we're this band to try to act edgy, but then we're still just going to put hip-hop into everything that we do because we actually are making mediocre music right now. And that makes me mad. I love Fall Out Boy, one of my favorite groups. 30 Seconds to Mars, y'all are okay. I've really never been a big fan. Maroon 5, y'all suck. But honestly, y'all could be doing better. 2018, y'all could be doing better. Like, you just could. And so it just infuriates me when I have to hear people like Adam Levine talk like that, because it's like, who are you to even talk about rock music? Like, maybe you were in rock music for like maybe 2.5 seconds, but you were never really a rock band. And I wish you guys would stop trying to act like you were. You were more so a pop rock band, if you could even call you a rock band at all. And you have totally gone away from rock music 100% at this point, and you are totally pop garbage, and you know you are. So I wish you would just stop talking about, rock music at all. And then, all of these hip-hop artists, if you even want to call them that, these trap rappers, these SoundCloud rappers, the littles who are making music on SoundCloud, it would just be amazing if you guys could do me a favor and stop trying to act like the only music that you guys can like is rock music because you have emo feelings. Just because you have emo feelings, like, you act like there was never any emo hip-hop ever in life. Hello? You need to take a really big step back and go learn your history, because there's been a lot of emo hip-hop over the years, and very good emo hip-hop at that. So, there's ways for you to incorporate your emo-ness into hip-hop without trying to act like you need to ride the wave of rock music. I get that you like rock music, and that's totally dope, because as a hip-hop fan, I love rock music as well. But I'm not about to devalue, disown hip-hop music, try to act like I'm such a rock music fan. Just only. I say I'm a rock music fan, but I'll also say in the same breath that I love hip-hop, that I love R&B, that I love jazz music, that I love blues, that I love oldies. I am a versatile person who loves very many different genres, and I can't just say that I don't like a certain genre, but at least I'm using them to make more money off of myself. I can't do that. So, this has been a really long rant. I don't even know where this conversation was going, but I just really wanted to talk about Adam Levine's little comments, because he just thinks he's so cool, and he's not. The music he's making is trash. He's not going to remember for really anything except for one good album, and that's really a shame. He had potential, and yet he totally decided to phone it in. And I feel sorry for all of the people who bought into his BS. I really do, because he's annoying. And he just really shouldn't be talking out of his face. It's annoying. So, rock music isn't better than hip-hop, and hip-hop is not better than rock music. We can live in a society where both music genres are on top of the world, with great music, great production, great lyricism, without shitting on either one. Just remember that, please. And another thing, the mainstream music scene is not where it's at. So if you are listening to the mainstream music scene and think that that's the coolest thing out there, you are sadly mistaken, and you need to go to your internets, you need to go to your YouTubes, you need to go to your SoundClouds, you need to go to your whatever, and I don't mean the SoundCloud of the rappers that are coming out today going into the mainstream. I mean like really searching for good quality hip-hop and good quality rock music and good quality any kind of music. Just look for it, because it's out there, and there are people out there who are really making amazing music, and you're just missing out. So I'm gonna need you to go do that, because I'm tired of having to hear people talk about how hip-hop is where it's at, rock music sucks, rock music is where it's at, hip-hop sucks, because it's not where it's at. All music is good music as long as you find the music that is good music. And sometimes good music to you is not good music to somebody else, and good music to somebody else is not always good music to you. So just remember that. Just remember that, people. Okay? So as we close out 2018 is coming to a close in a few weeks. And as we close it out, I just want you to remember that music is a subjective genre where somebody can think that something is good and you could think it sucks, and vice versa. But what we're not going to do is totally throw certain genres under the bus for other genres, because that's not where it's at. Okay? All right. I will hopefully not have to have this conversation again, but knowing this group of befuddled buffoons in the music industry, I will. But I hope you take this message with a grain of salt. And just remember, at the end of the day, this whole conversation, all I want to let you know is Adam Levine sucks. All right. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful day, week, month, year. Until next time, peace and blessings.